Dear students, welcome to my channel, Dr. V.R. Pudile, Professor of Management and Economics. In this video, I am dealing with determinants of working capital requirements in a company. Determinants of working capital. Determinants of working capital can be divided into 12 types. They are 1. Nature of business, 2. Length of manufacturing cycle, 3. Stage of business cycle, 4. Volume of business, 5. Proportion of cost of raw materials in total cost, 6. Use of manual labor or mechanization, 7. Need to keep large stock, 8. Working capital turnover, 9. Terms of credit, 10. Seasonal variations, 11. Cash requirements, and 12. Other factors. Let us now discuss with determinants of working capital in detail. 1. Nature of business. The trading or manufacturing businesses require more amount of working capital. Public utilities and railway companies with huge fixed investment usually require relatively less working capital, partly because of cash nature of their business and partly due to selling a service instead of goods. Similarly, businesses engaged in the manufacture of producers' goods usually require less working capital than businesses producing consumer goods. The second determinant of working capital is length of manufacturing cycle. Manufacturing cycle refers to the time taken to convert inputs into output. If it takes less time to make the finished product, the working capital required will be less. To give an example, a baker requires one night time to bake his daily quota of bread. His working capital is therefore much less than that of a shipbuilding concern which takes 3 to 5 years to build a ship. Manufacturing cycle refers to the time taken to convert inputs into output. If it takes less time to make the finished product, the working capital required will be less. To give an example, a baker requires one night time to bake his daily quota of bread. His working capital is therefore much less than that of a shipbuilding concern which takes 3 to 5 years to build a ship. The third determinant of working capital is stage of business cycle. During boom and recovery phases, businesses require more working capital. During recession and depression, businesses require less working capital. The fourth determinant of working capital is volume of business. Generally, the size of the company has a direct relation with the working capital needs. Big concerns have to keep higher working capital. The fifth determinant of working capital is proportion of cost of raw materials to total cost. where the cost of raw materials to be used in manufacturing of a product is very large in proportion to the total cost, working capital required will also be more. That is why in a cotton textile mill or in a sugar mill, huge funds are required for this purpose. A building contractor also needs huge working capital for this reason. The sixth determinant of working capital is use of manual labor or mechanization. In labor-intensive industries, larger working capital is required than in the highly mechanized ones. The seventh determinant of working capital is need to keep large stock. The manufacturing concerns generally have to carry stocks of raw materials and stocks of finished goods. The larger the stocks, whether of raw material or finished goods, more will be the needs of working capital. The eighth determinant of working capital is working capital turnover. Turnover means the speed with which the working capital is recovered by the sale of goods. If turnover is high, less amount of working capital is required. The ninth determinant of working capital is terms of credit. A company purchasing all raw materials for cash and selling on credit will be requiring more amount of working capital. Contrary to this, if the enterprise is in a position to buy on credit and sell it for cash, it will need less amount of working capital. The 10th determinant of working capital is seasonal variations. There are some businesses which either produce goods or make sales only seasonally. For example, the sugar industry produces practically all the sugar between December and April, and the woolen textile industry makes its sales generally during winter. In both these cases, the needs of working capital will be very large during the season. The 11th determinant of working capital is cash requirements. The need to have cash in hand to meet various requirements, example, payment of salaries, rents, rates, etc., has an effect on the working capital requirement. The more the cash requirements, the higher will be working capital needs of the company and vice versa. The 12th determinant of working capital is other factors. In addition to the mentioned considerations, there are also a number of other factors which affect the requirements of working capital. Some of them include 1. Degree of coordination between production and distribution policies of the company. 2. Specialization in the field of distribution. And 3. Developments of means of transportation and communication. Dear students, in this video, I had dealt with determinants of working capital requirements of a company. Thank you.